Hey YouTube, today we're going to talk about flight and accommodation options for the upcoming Atlantis October cruise from LA down to Mexico. This is the first of several videos I'm going to be posting up very soon to help you get prepared for the upcoming October cruise. So like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified when those videos are posted. In the meantime, I'm linked down below in the description a bunch of cruise advice videos that you might find useful. There's a packing checklist there, packing advice, door decor 101, information on cruise cards. It's all down below. On to this 2022 Atlantis LA to Mexico cruise. The October cruise is a cruise that Atlantis has every single year. It always says in October. It always goes from LA down to Mexico. It's actually my favorite cruise on the full menu of cruises that Atlantis has. So I actually recommend this cruise to a lot of first-time cruisers. First thing I want to point out is that the ship waits for no one. And this is advice I've given in several different videos and to lots of different people. When you're planning out flights to LA, the hotel for where you're staying, just keep that in mind. You want to make logistics, your transportation, make your life as easy as possible so that the minimal amount of things will go wrong the morning of the cruise so that you don't get delayed and possibly miss the ship. First of all, you're gonna know where the port is. The port is called the Port of Los Angeles, and we're gonna be sailing out of the World Cruise Center Terminal. The Port of Los Angeles specifically is actually not in the city of Los Angeles, even though it's in Los Angeles County. It's actually in the city of San Pedro. It's actually near Long Beach. Los Angeles, for those who are not familiar, is a pretty big place. So when you're looking for hotels or accommodations or anything, don't just pick any random place in Los Angeles, because to get from like one end of Los Angeles County to like the other end could possibly take you like 2 hours, maybe more if traffic is really bad. Let's talk about your flight and airport options, assuming that a lot of you probably will be flying into the LA area. We've got a choice of different airports. The first airport I'm going to recommend to you is not LAX or Los Angeles International. It's actually LGB, or Long Beach Airport. So I just mentioned before, the port is very close to the city of Long Beach, and they actually have an airport there serving mostly domestic flights, primarily from the western states, and it's mostly Southwest Airlines that flies into LGB Airport. However, that airport is very, very close to the Port of Los Angeles. So if LGB is an option for you, that is if there are flights from where you are to go and fly into LGB, I strongly recommend that. It's a smaller airport, so it's gonna be a lot less crowded. You get in and out of the airport. You don't have all the traffic around the airport that always tend to exist around LAX. It is a nightmare over there. My general recommendation for where you wanna stay the night before the cruise sets sail is to stay somewhere near the port so that the morning of the cruise, you don't have to spend a lot of time in traffic. It reduces your chances of getting there late and possibly missing the ship. And you're just kicking off your vacation, right? So whatever you can do to have a stress-free start to your vacation, not sitting in Los Angeles traffic, it's probably gonna set you off on the best foot forward for the rest of the cruise. LGB is a regional airport. You're not gonna get any international flights that fly into LGB. That means a lot of you are probably gonna have to look at LAX or Los Angeles International Airport. Obviously, LAX is the major airport in the LA area. That's gonna be an option. No matter which corner of the globe that you're coming from, there's gonna be some way to get to LAX. Finally, a third option is John Wayne Airport, or SNA is the airport code, and they are west of where the port is, and it's technically a little itsy bit further away from the Port of Los Angeles compared to LAX. But I bring it up because LAX is such a huge airport. There's so much traffic there that if for whatever reason Long Beach Airport isn't an option for you and you really don't want to fly into LAX, John Wayne Airport could be an option as well. Again, not really an international airport, more regional flights. That's also kind of like a third or an alternate option you can look into as well. Google Flights is your best friend. Just go to flightsgoogle.com, non-sponsored, but hey Google, I wouldn't mind a sponsorship. go ahead, Google either that or your flight search engine of your choice, and then you can very easily punch in where you're coming from and which of these airports you would like to go to, and it will give you all the different flight options. As for timing, in terms of when you want to fly into the Los Angeles area for the cruise, this year, the October 2022 cruise sets sail on a Friday. That means you want to ideally fly in on Thursday. I generally don't recommend flying in the morning of, because if flights get delayed or whatnot, again, the ship waits for no one. Even a couple hours delay on your flight, that could mean the difference between making your week-long vacation cruise or not making it. So that's why I always recommend come in sometime the day before, Thursday in this case, grab a night's hotel or Airbnb, and then you can just wake up, you already be in LA, and then you can take your time getting ready, getting prepared, getting happy for the cruise. I know a lot of people like to explore whatever city they're flying into or out of for the cruise, because a lot of times it might not be a city that you visited before, right? I would recommend for this particular cruise, if you do want to explore LA, do that after the cruise is over. We're coming back on a Friday, and the ship's gonna come back in the morning. By noontime, you'll be off the ship. You have the rest of Friday, and you have like the weekend as well. Kind of take that weekend and do it there. If you want to explore LA before the cruise, that's possible as well. You just fly in earlier, you get some accommodations for however many days you want to spend in LA before the cruise. But I think just because the ship docks back on a Friday and then you have like the whole weekend, I think that's probably like the nicer way to do it. Okay, so those are flights and the timing for when you want to fly in and out of the LA area. Let's talk about accommodations. Again, my general recommendation for the night before the cruise is to stay somewhere pretty close to the port. LA traffic is no joke. Spending time worrying about traffic and getting delayed in traffic and things like that, it's not a very nice start to your vacation. I would recommend, as my first choice, stay somewhere near like the Long Beach area. There's like the waterfront area, for example, it's got a bunch of hotels there. LAX, there are obviously like the airport hotels that are nearby. If it was me flying in, doesn't matter which airport I'd be flying into, I would just go right from the airport. I would probably grab a hotel for a night somewhere in Long Beach or kind of that general area, so that when I wake up, it's only like a short car ride over to the terminal. If you are flying in the day before, like I recommend, I would discourage you from going to any of the fancy places that tourists would usually want to visit or stay in. Santa Monica, West Hollywood, Hollywood proper, the Hollywood Hills, Beverly Hills. You're not really gonna be able to experience very much in those neighborhoods just spending a night there, and you're gonna expose yourself to a lot of traffic. So Santa Monica is just north of LAX, so it's not really that far. But if you want to go up to West Hollywood, go up to Hollywood, go up to Beverly Hills, that's quite a bit north. It might only be about 8 or 10 miles in terms of the actual distance. But in terms of the commute time, the amount of time it takes to get from LAX up to West Hollywood, where I am right now, for example, and then go from West Hollywood all the way down to where the port is on a Friday morning, which is a work day, maybe that's an hour. Despite the morning, I know some of you are like, Joey, I really want to go to West Hollywood the night before I go to the cruise, because I want to go check out the bars and just hit up the West Hollywood scene and stuff. Fine, I get it, I understand. I live in West Hollywood for a reason. If you want to do that, just make sure you plan ahead. That is all right, as long as you're aware that this is kind of like the opposite direction. It's a little ways away from where the port is. In terms of getting a hotel versus an Airbnb, if you're traveling solo or just 1 or 2 or 3 of you, a hotel I think probably works best, especially for one single night, because it's just so little hassle to stay at a hotel. However, you've got a group of people, a big group of people with you, I think that's why it makes sense to find an Airbnb so you all can just hang out and you can all head off to the cruise port together as well. All right, we covered how you're gonna get to LA. Let's talk a little bit about what happens after the cruise. Cruise ships always dock back very, very early. So the physical ship itself is gonna be back around 5, 6, 7 a.m. And they'll start disembarking pretty soon after that once they get clearance from the port. So something like 8 a.m. already, that's when you're gonna see people start to leave the cruise ship. Most passengers, most of you will be off the ship by 10 a.m., 11 a.m. A lot of people do tend to fly back the day they get off the ship. So this would be the Friday at the end of the cruise. An afternoon flight should be perfect. If you have a flight around like noon-ish, depending on which airport you're flying out of, that's kind of pushing it. You're flying out of Long Beach Airport though. I think that's where you would be okay if you had like a late morning or a noon flight out of LGB, because it's a smaller airport, just less traffic in that area, and you'll be able to get from the port over to LGB Airport pretty quickly. So if you really needed to fly out as soon as possible, I would strongly suggest looking at flight options out of Long Beach Airport. For those who are stuck with LAX, there's traffic all around LAX. There have been times where I have a flight to LAX, traffic's fine until I actually get into where the airport terminal area is, and then I'm stuck there for like 20 minutes. If you are flying out LAX, I would really strongly discourage you from doing a morning flight. There's a chance you could make it, but there's a chance that you might miss it, especially if you've got luggage to check. That means you gotta get to the terminal somewhere between 60 and 90 minutes before your scheduled departure time so that you can actually check your luggage in. After the cruise, because you're coming back on a Friday and you have the rest of that weekend, I think that's a really great time to explore Los Angeles if you would like to do that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, this is the first of several videos I'm gonna be posting up very soon to help you get prepared for the upcoming October Atlantis cruise going from LA down to Mexico. And also linked in the description below are some existing gay cruise advice videos I've made on a lot of various different topics. Check them out down there. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when those new upcoming videos gets posted. Until next time, bye YouTube.